Okay. Jesus Christ in heaven. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. It's, like I said, episode 307. Welcome in to the show. I'm waiting for this thing to die down. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're going to stop it right here. Boom. Welcome back to the show. I'm having a lot of trouble today. I'm full disclosure. I have a job that not a job. Hold on. It's not a job. I have a gig. That relates sort of to not sort of. I'm reading something. I have to do it on mic, and I've been doing it for the past 3 weeks, and it sucks. The doing it sucks. I loved whatever I read. The act of doing the thing sucks. Nothing else about whatever I'm reading sucks. And I am just burnt. I am burnt on talking. It is 3:29 on Friday. I did this in the last episode, in the late night lately, because I just did that. It is Friday, September 6th, 2024. And I am truly sincere, and I just got my COVID and flu shots, and all I want to do is lie down. That's it. But I finished recording what I was supposed to record. I still need to edit so many videos, and I have to plan for news time is going to come back next week. I'm just going to have to shoot it. I don't care about a theme song. I'm just shooting the show. Oh my God, it's just going to happen. And then this morning I got back from the gym at a regular decent time, and Maverick just took a full shit in his crate. And then I come home, the crate's in the bedroom. I come home, and I sniff, and I have an air purifier. Right, I don't know if you can see it. The Conway air purifier. It's right by the kitchen, so it can, get the kitchen smells. And it's a new addition. It was used. I bought it used. I come home every single morning. I come from the gym. I just go, just a quick sniff, just to make sure. And today was one of those bad days. And also earlier this week I changed Nova's litter, the cat. Every single time I change her litter, and I'm not. This is not a joke, not over exaggeration. Every single time I change her litter, she, instead of going to the middle of the litter box, she goes to the front of the litter box and pees in the front. So sometimes there's just a puddle of pee sitting at the front, not outside the litter box, but at the front. This week, on the front lip, this week she decided to pee right in front of the litter box. And then kick some litter on top of it. And then I walk into the bathroom and I see her on the ground of the bathroom. She only does this motion. If you're watching the video, you'll see what I mean. But she only does this motion when she vomits, when she throws up her kibble. Cats, whenever they poo or peep. Whenever they poo or pee or vomit, they still have this instinct from the wild. This is something I had to Google. They have this, or Bing, or whatever search engine you use. That was my character, Bernie Sanders' brother, Ernie Sanders. He doesn't want you. While Bernie is concerned about the 1%, Ernie is concerned about what search engine you use, and he doesn't want people mad at him for suggesting they only use Google. If I still made clips for TikTok and Instagram, that would be one of them. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So they try to cover it. They get this instinct to try to cover it, and so they take their front paws and they start like digging dirt on top of it so that predators don't know that they pooped or peed there, or vomited there. And I walked in. She'd already put the litter on top, but I saw her. She was on the tile. So there's her litter box, a rubber mat that I keep under that's bigger than litter box to catch stray litter that comes off her feet when she jumps out, and then the tile of the bathroom. And I saw her scraping the tile of the bathroom. Nothing on there, thankfully. But she was like as if there was dirt, like just scraping it back onto the thing. And Maverick shit was. Again, this is not that type of show, and I try not to curse on the show, but it was just sitting in the middle of. I have a comforter in there and the blanket that the woman who I adopted Maverick from, she gave me a blanket with a tiger on it because she said he loves this blanket, so I just took it. But I bought a comforter at Target when school was initially let out in like May. They were doing like. Clearance sales, and I bought that comforter. Anyway, it's a nice comforter from Target, and it's just a big pile of poop just sitting in the middle, and I was so mad. And then I open his crate, and he does this every single morning, whether it's the weekend and I'm sleeping in, or I wake up at 3:50 Monday through Friday to go to the gym to work out. It's much easier that way. Don't ask me why. I just like it that way. On the weekends, I wake up at like 5 or 6. It's very sad life I live. But I open the crate, he sprints out. So today, I open the crate, he tries to sprint out. I grab him by the scruff of the neck, and I go, "That is a bad dog. That is a bad dog." And he tries to run away from me. I pick his ass up because I know for a fact, and I was correct, that there's poop on his paws. At least he didn't eat it. He used to eat his poop. Now he doesn't because he knows I hate that. He knows I will scream at him to the high heavens. What is this noise? Oh, God. I live next to well, let me tell you, I'll say this. This used to be, and then I'll get on with the stories. Next to me, there's a building where basically hipsters hang out, and like the grunge hipsters, not the cool hipsters like me, like the grungy hipsters. And it used to have a living space, and I guess the owner of the building decided to convert it into a restaurant, and a lounge moved in, a restaurant space. A lounge moved in, and they're like a Caribbean African lounge or something like that. And they're only open Friday through Monday, and they play the loudest music. And I went this is a couple of months ago. I was out with people, and everybody was going home, walking down the Beltline, going home, and I went, "Hey, I live right here. I'm just gonna go home." So I'm walking home, and I hear this music, and I go, "Let me just stop by and see what's up." I go inside. It's maybe, and it's not even. It was since it's summertime. It's an outside thing right now. That's why the music's. But I go inside, and it's basically like the owners and their friends. I cannot imagine that they're doing good business. Because before them, there was like an art/event space there, and that was bad. Like they're bad. That was like the worst to hear. Not even grungy. Excuse me. The worst rock music you've ever heard. Like screamo. Not rock. It's not rock because that's doing rock a disservice. The worst screamo metal that you've ever heard in your life, and it was twice as loud as these people. Anyway, I started hearing them through the headphones. We're almost 10 minutes in. Let's get on with the first story. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Katie Kilkenny. Production assistants launch ambitious bid for unionization with LIUNA. The Hollywood Local of the Laborers Union has partnered with a grassroots group in an effort to organize crew members nationwide. Quote, "We are going to win and we're going to radically change this industry." Production assistants are by far the worst treated people, I believe. Again, I believe. I believe they are the worst treated people in Hollywood, besides the people that work for the A-listers. The Laborer International Union of North America, LIUNA, Local 274, is partnering with the grassroots group Production Assistants United to organize one of the last non-union crew positions on entertainment sets. This makes sense. Grips, producers, directors, makeup artists, everybody, set designers, everybody is covered by a union. Their jobs are, I'm not going to say safe, and that's not the word I want to use, but they're more or less fine thanks to unions, people who can back them up when it comes to if they need to take a strike for something, if they need to stand up against a studio that's wronging people in the same position. I agree with this entirely. With around 1,800 active and retired members, LIUNA, I think that's pronounced, I don't care, currently represents utility workers in film and television. That's electricians, plumbers, carpenters, sheet metal workers. A range of roles at Universal Studios, Hollywood, and billboard workers with Outfront Media. The production assistance push represents a bold play from the local, one that could potentially augment its membership by thousands. Sometimes, just like in the real world, excuse me, and just like in other companies may not want to hire people in a union. Starbucks is known for union busting. When I was at UPS working in a factory, union workers used to always chide people as they were leaving the work for the day. So we'd get in there at 4 a.m. or something, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we'd leave at 9 a.m. And then you see union workers outside going, "Join the union, join the union. It's good for you. It is good for you." And the people who were walking out, all that, because I didn't understand the intricacies of unions at that time. When I was 21 years old and I just graduated college, and the only job I could get was working in a factory. And I remember asking the guy I was on the conveyor belt with, "Hey, yesterday I saw all these union people talking about union." He's like, "No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that." Yes, I think I've spoken about this guy before. He was, I don't know, probably in his 40s. He also worked at Ross Dress for Less. And one day, and the Ross Dress for Less did not make any money. It was so bad. The one, I don't know which one he worked at. Actually, I think I do know which one. So I won't talk about it. But I remember he told me he came into work one day. He's like, "Yeah, so yesterday I was at Ross working in the back, and they told me," this is good wages, and he goes, "They told me to go home in the middle of the day." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because they weren't making enough money for the day." And he goes, "Apparently they didn't sell anything. They really only made $1 for the day." And I was like, "What? They made $1 for the entire day? They sent you home in the middle of the day?" I don't know. He specifically said $1, and I think about that sometimes, going they sent that man home because they only made $1 for the day. And in reality, it's probably $100 or something like that. But they just didn't. They probably just sent him home because he talked too much. Production assistants they're very important when it comes to the world of Hollywood. They get food. They tell, if you've ever seen something being shot on the street, they're the ones that are not directing traffic, but stopping traffic because somebody's going, "Hey, we're shooting over here." For Production Assistants United, the LIUNA partnership brings funding and educational resources to an organizing effort that began just a year ago. It was in part the result of a surge in Hollywood labor actions at the moment. Some of the production assistant group's founding members met on picket lines during the actors and writers strikes, but production assistants also recognized that they had a window of opportunity. Some of the founding members were mutual friends with television commercial production workers that had successfully partnered with IATSE to unionize that summer. During that drive, IATSE had managed to secure the inclusion of television commercial production assistants in its new local. Suddenly, the door was cracked open a little wider for production assistants in the film and television world. We need to protect everybody in this entertainment industry, because it's a place you can get taken advantage of. Look at all the people who have worked in the music industry who don't own their masters, who get paid pennies because they were signed into bad contracts. I think Megan Thee Stallion is one of the people who's was signed to a bad contract. Drake was signed into a bad contract, and remember when he released "If You're Reading This, It's Already Too Late." That was his letter. That was his album to leave the label he was with. Which was, I think Young Money. I don't remember. But yeah, this is very important, and I'm so glad we're getting a step forward in the right direction here. And hopefully this won't affect people being hired in the long run. I know it's going to be slow going. It's already taken a year for this to even get off the ground, but hopefully it gets better from here. This next one comes from Alexandra Alter over at the New York Times. The Blacklist helped reshape Hollywood. Can it change publishing? This is a profile of the website The Blacklist and its creator, Franklin Leonard. It's been almost 20 years. He started in 2005, which was to help writers. It's a website, unknown writers. It's a website, or mostly people who have been not published, but who have had jobs before. In the entertainment industry, just saying. It's if you know what the Blacklist is, it's a website where blossoming writers can post their screenplays and have them read by people in the industry and reviewed by people who say they work in the industry. So they'll give you like a 4 out of 10. I don't know. Sometimes they'll give you a 4 out of 10 and tell you that your comedy, your R-rated comedy is a family comedy. It's a buddy comedy between the main character and his best friend, who's only in, I don't know, less than 5 pages in the script. So, the Blacklist, by all means, is a great resource. And also, if you're a part of the Blacklist, which you have to pay for. You have to pay for people to read your thing, which makes sense, but also it costs too much money. If you're part of the Blacklist, then you can go and read other people's screenplays. It's for pilots, it's for scripts, it's for plays. I didn't know that you could do plays on there. Big movies have been found on there. Spotlight, The King's Speech, Slumdog Millionaire. 2 of those. Let me see who wrote The King's Speech. Let me just do a cursory Google. Who wrote The King's Speech? And if this person has had previous experience with writing, I'm going to be pissed. Because sometimes you'll see, like, written by David Seidler, 86 years old. Writing credits. Interesting. He's been writing since 1965. Okay, just saying. Just saying, it's different for everybody. Now they're tackling the world of publishing. He's adding Franklin is adding novel manuscripts to the Blacklist, which is aiming to crack the perennial problem of the slush pile. Aspiring novelists can now post manuscripts to the Blacklist. If you're watching the video, you see me rubbing my arm. The COVID shot is now hurting my arm. That I got it at 10:15. It's now 3:47. The flu shot is by all means feeling good. The COVID shot killing me. Aspiring novelists can now post manuscripts on the blacklist where they can potentially get discovered by the literary agents, editors, and publishers who subscribe to the site. I think this is a great move. This is first of all, I think this is an excellent piece that Alexandra wrote covering the blacklist and everything like that, and Franklin's way to get to publishing and everything. But second, and also I think the blacklist costs way too much money. But second, I think this is a great entry point for, or a different way for book writers to get discovered. I don't know how I could see how screenwriters and playwriters, I can see how they get discovered, but the idea of being somebody who writes books, having a manuscript and going, well, HarperCollins didn't like this, or Penguins Publishing Random House didn't like this. I don't know. But so this is a great idea. They can, you can create a free profile in the same way that screenwriters create a free profile, and then you can post a novel length, unpublished or self-published manuscript on the site for a monthly fee of $30. For $150, authors can get professional feedback on the first 90 to 100 pages of their novel from one of Blacklist readers. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good idea. Let's keep it up. The Blacklist will not receive a cut if a publisher decides to buy a novel they discover on the site or claim any rights to the material, Leonard said. The bulk of the business's revenue comes from the fees that writers pay for evaluations and to post to their site. Yes, that makes sense. The Blacklist is also creating the Unpublished Novel Award, a $10,000 grant for authors of unpublished manuscripts in 7 genres: children's and young adult, mystery, horror, literary fiction, romance, science fiction, and fantasy, and thriller and suspense. They also do Blacklist for screenwriters. They also do a lot of grants and a lot of they also have a thing called the Blacklist, where at the end of the year they announce like the most read screenplays of the year from the website, and typically those people are very seasoned people, from what I can ascertain. Nobody's gonna read mine. The 2 I have up there, I think I have I've written several scripts. I think I have 1 movie up there and 1 television show. My 2 best things I've ever written. The judges for the prize of the Unpublished Novel Award include LeVar Burton, novelist Victor Vale, literary agents Molly Glick and Eric Sminoff, and Vanity Fair's editor-in-chief Radhika Jones. Oh, I know Radhika Jones. It's great. The Blacklist is also working with a production company, Simon Kinberg's Genre Films, which made movies like The Martian and Deadpool. Not The Martian and Deadpool, which is not a spinoff of Deadpool and Wolverine, but The Martian and Deadpool. One of those is a book and a great movie. And one of those is a movie about a comic book character. And also a funny movie. I like it. The company will choose an unpublished manuscript to option for 18 months for $25,000. That's good. I mean, especially if you have not published anything, or if this is if this is your first big break. I believe that if you are part of the Writers Guild and you sell your first script to write, I believe you get $100,000, and then you're paid $100,000, you minimum, and then after that, obviously it goes up. But I like this. This is a great idea. I think this is a fantastic idea, and I think it will help find more writers out there who would just be at the beholden to publishing the book on their own, on Amazon, on whatever platform, and hoping to get discovered and just doing that initial push themselves. But now, even if you're on the Blacklist, anybody can find you. Case in point, someone did reach out to me, and someone at a production company. I don't think I've told this story before. I've told plenty of dates, but I've never told this story before on this podcast, and I will not tell the full story. But a guy reached out to me on via his brother's Blacklist account, and he's the head of a production company. That was a real company. I did have to look it up and everything, and I'll describe it the way I describe it to other people. If a movie like Transformers comes out, they're the ones that make transmographers. and it releases the same day as Transformers, and it's only on streaming or DVD or whatever. Well, at the time, DVD, now streaming. That's how long ago it was. What year is it? 2024. I would probably say it was before 2020. Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway, I'll never tell that story. All right, unless you go on a date with me. This guy, you have to be a beautiful woman, 8 or above. This next one comes from Deadline, written by Max Goldbart. Despite industry slowdown, BBC diversity boss says representation can keep improving. The BBC is not very good with representation. Actually, excuse me. I'm thinking BBC. I don't think BBC is that good with representation. The BAFTAs are the ones that aren't good with. They are just horrible. There's been a slowdown in television across the globe, and from the U.S. and from Hollywood to the rest. Speaking of Deadline exclusively upon the announcement of a new 25% diversity target for all BBC shows, Jessica Shibley, who has been in the post for 12 months, said she takes confidence from the fact that representation has improved year over year since 2021, even as slowdown and recession have set in. That being said, when Jodie Whittaker was the doctor, they did not stand up for her. I'll tell you that much. That's what, as a Doctor Who fan, people were so mean to Jodie Whittaker. I don't know how they're responding to, because I don't know how they're responding to. I'm gonna Nkati. I'm gonna mispronounce his name, but he's a great Doctor Who. I watched this entire season. It's fantastic. He did the thing where he cried in every single episode. I have two big issues with his doctor. He cried in literally every single episode, and he did this move where he spins around in a circle, basically every single episode, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Concerns have been raised anecdotally over the past few months that the industry's diversity push will be hard hit by the slowdown, with the freelancers exiting and indies closing coming from less traditional backgrounds. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to keep up with everything, and I think doing an actual diversity push, announcing something like this and taking hard numbers to it is something that really helps. A couple of years ago, CBS said that they were doing 50% diversity push for their shows, and that's one of the one of the hardest things to do, especially for a broadcast network, and not only just a broadcast network, the most watched broadcast network in Middle America and across America, but also in Middle America, because older white people love something safe, and that's usually on CBS. They have Blue Blood, they have The Big Bang Theory at the time, but a couple of years ago, CBS said, I think it was 50%. Let me check. I seem like a jackass. Yeah, CBS 50% diversity. Yes, they had a diversity target for reality casts. 50% of talent must be BIPOC. And they committed to 25% of unscripted development budget to BIPOC creatives. So, I mean, we saw on CBS this giant push, and I've noticed it in Survivor, in The Amazing Race, in Big Brother, in all three of those shows. I have seen numbers jump. In fact, that's why I started watching, because I saw that article. That was in 2020. I saw that and I went, yeah, this makes sense. Let's get more brown people and gay people and people with different abilities and all this stuff. And it works, and it really fits well. And I mean, I think that season of Big Brother was one of the whitest, and it was I think like a group of like 8 white people started sending brown people home every single episode, and that really annoyed me. And this is why I don't go online anymore, but people were like, they're just not playing the game. Like, no, they are playing the game. They're being targeted because they're not a part of this white group of people. So the same, and then also I want to continue on about CBS really quick. They have shows like Bob Hart's Abishola. Yes, the show ended, but it lasted 5 years. And 5 years prior to that show airing, it would have never been on CBS, ever. I think it's a funny show. I like it. As for the BBC, it takes you sitting down and saying, we're going to dedicate 25%. Like how many times have I turned on a show on the BBC or a Grandmaster on PBS or is that what it's called? Masterpiece Theater? I don't know what the hell it's called. But any of that stuff and seen no people of color. Like it's 2024. These things, it should no longer matter. You know, whether there's a queer character or an Indian person or whatever in 1922, especially if it's a fake story. Shibley said the big challenge now is for shows that deliver, quote, landmark portrayal on screen to be combined with greater diversity off screen in senior production roles or via diverse leadership of the companies producing the content. And I see that all the time, or the lack thereof, rather, when you see a show is written by, I'm just picking names, Judd Apatow, starring Mark Duplass, and this, like whenever I see, you know, I love John Hamm, but when I see John Hamm joins the morning show and this person joins the morning show and it's white name after white name after white name, I'd like, what am I supposed, like, I'm glad people can enjoy these shows. I'm glad they're getting these star-studded casts, but you have the chance to make other stars, and there's other like people of color. Add Tiffany Haddish to the morning show. Add Ming Na Wen. I couldn't think of somebody else. I couldn't think of anybody faster than Ming Na Wen. But just add different names. We have the time. Let's just do this, because that's how you get more people to watch your shows and movies. I mean, the Colors of Change report from the Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, all those reports in the past couple of years have shown the data and shows and movies that are being watched that people want to see more diversity in their shows and movies. So why don't we just go ahead and do that? Who cares if now I'm going to start picking on people. Who cares? Who's the Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I can't even pick this guy out. His wife is he hires his wife James Gunn. like James Gunn hires his friends, his same white friends, for the same roles over and over again in his projects. And he hires his wife for the same role. I'm never going to be hired by James Gunn. Let's just put that out in the universe. It's never going to happen. So, like, at what point are we going to start calling people, like, Superman doesn't have to be white. We can just, you know, in fact, you could just, Michael B. Jordan wanted to make a black Superman movie. Just put him in the movie and just say he's black. You know, Perry White was Lawrence Fishburne was Perry White. You didn't have to be a white guy. Literally, you just change the color and nothing's different. That's it. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares but me. This next one comes from Alex Weprin at The Hollywood Reporter. The new plan to revitalize CBS is revealed in a filing by Skydance and Paramount. And as it turns out, Larry Ellison, who is the father of Skydance CEO David Ellison, will have voting control of the new Paramount. Larry Ellison, if you don't know, is a Hollywood mogul whose children, Megan Ellison and David Ellison, are in their own rights Hollywood mogul-ettes. Larry Ellison has, I guess, invested a lot of money into Skydance, and when the merger goes through, hopefully for Skydance and or I don't know, hopefully when Skydance and Paramount merge, David Ellison will be taking over as CEO, because he is the CEO of Skydance and the founder. But Larry Ellison, who founded Oracle, is basically invested a lot of money into Skydance and will have voting control. Alongside Jerry Cardinal's Redbird Capital. Companies controlled by Larry Ellison are contributing the bulk of the cash required to get the deal done, hence the voting control. We've all seen Succession. Now, this is all revealed through an antitrust review as filed by the Federal Trade Commission or Department of Justice, which means approval by the FCC to transfer the CBS broadcast licenses. And the filing that requirement led to a filing which outlines the deal and the players involved in filing. Ellison notes that they do not currently own any business with a broadcast license because you can't like they couldn't own Ion. Why did I say Ion? They couldn't own ESPN and then try to buy a rival broadcaster in sports as such, CBS. Don't know if that was good grammar or not. And thus, they will not be reduce the competition in the space. CBS and the O&O local stations and their robust distribution networks are among the company's strongest and most stable assets, the filing says. With an improved balance sheet, new Paramount will be able to make strategic investment. Okay, this is just all boilerplate stuff that you know about. They're going to call this new Paramount they're going to be like, it's faster, it's leaner, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. With regard to the O&O filing, the filing lays out a rough plan to, quote, preserve and enhance the legacy and broad reach of the national CBS television network and the company's 28 owned and operated O&O local television broadcast stations, while leveraging their historic strengths to successfully meet the challenges presented by today's dynamic and disruptive media landscape. They're trying to say, we're going to make a lot of money, but also we're going to cut back on some things without making it seem like we're cutting back too much. It's the same stuff when Disney bought Fox, when Disney is trying to get the controlling rights of Hulu from Comcast, when Warner was purchased by Discovery, when Viacom and Paramount CBS remerged. So it's good to know we kind of have the basics of who's going to be running this new Paramount. I believe, and you know what, I was going to mention something about Larry Ellison that has nothing to do with anything. I believe his children are a little bit more left-leaning, and I believe he's more right-leaning. If I remember correctly, political involvement, I'm on his Wikipedia page. He's done both, but mostly right. So there you go. A lot of right. Based on what I'm seeing on his Wikipedia page, a lot of right. There you go. All right, this final story, which I don't want to really cover, comes from the Wall Street Journal, written by Robert McMillan, Brian Witten, Robbie Whelan, and Caitlin Ostroff. Leaked Disney data reveals financial and strategy secrets. I believe this was a couple of years ago, or there were leaked files from hackers on the that was in July. Okay, so there were leaked files from hackers in July that include a range of financial and strategy information that sheds light on the entertainment giant's operations. These Wall Street Journal writers saw these files, and they definitely talked about some very interesting things that even this week I was thinking about, and I'm one thing in particular I'm surprised to be wrong about. They talk about revenue from the streaming platforms, Disney streaming platforms, pricing offers for the theme parks that they've modeled, login credentials for some of Disney's cloud infrastructure. Jesus, my goodness! I hope they changed the password. Oh, Goofy 1, Goofy 2. Oh, thank God. Genie Plus and Disney Plus, they talk about numbers like that. And apparently, Genie Plus, which is, I think, the premium park pass. Yes, the park pass that launched in 2021, where you can, I guess, go ahead in the park and get special things or get, treatment, whatever. It generated over $724 million in pre-tax revenue between October 2021 and June 2024 at Walt Disney World alone. My goodness. That is so crazy. Oh my God, that's so much money. I skipped over that because I was skimming through this earlier this morning, but this is what really caught my eye. This is why this is up here. The leaked documents also provide fresh insight into Disney's streaming revenue. The company doesn't disclose revenue for individual streaming services within its direct-to-consumer business, which includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. But as it turns out, internal spreadsheets suggest that Disney Plus generated $2.4 billion in revenue in the March quarter. That's more than $2.4 billion. That amounts to about 43% of the revenue. 43% of revenue the company reports for its direct-to-consumer entertainment business, which also includes Hulu, which means Hulu is a very important figure for Disney, which is why it is so important for Disney to continue to try to buy out Comcast's stake in the business. Seeing that makes me think, why doesn't Disney put more effort into Hulu? Hulu is, by all accounts, one of the most confusing streaming platforms to get on. I hop on Disney Plus. Although it's getting a little busy. It's getting a little bit busy itself. But I hop on a Disney Plus. I can go straight to The Sims. This is all I watch on Disney Plus. I'm not kidding. I pay $25 a month for the Disney bundle. I spend more time on Hulu. I don't touch ESPN Plus because I can watch that on Hulu. And Disney Plus, I mostly watch The Simpsons. And Hercules, the TV show, because I'm trying to relive my childhood. It was not good. But I can go directly to The Simpsons and or I can go on Netflix. I can go to Somebody Feed Phil. Even with Max, I can go, okay, there's Veep. There's the Batman. Whatever. I can get to those easily. On Hulu, it's meandering, and I don't know where the things are. So I've started putting shows I rewatch. New Girl, 30 Rock, whatever. I just started keeping them in my stuff because I don't want to go through all the panels. Still better than Paramount Plus. Can't navigate on Paramount Plus for the life of me. Not on my TV, not on my mobile devices, not on the consoles. It's tough. Anyway, Hulu's a very important figure for Disney. People, whether we're talking about Hulu with live TV or just Hulu itself, I think all the promotions that they're running with colleges or people with student IDs, all like that. I think that's or with Spotify. I think all of that really plays into it, and the fact that you can access Hulu shows and movies on Disney Plus. Speaking of which, here's a little side note. Disney announced that they're going to do like live offerings, like fast, free ad-supported television style streaming offerings within the Disney or Hulu or platform or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember the full story. So this week I've noticed ABC News Live, which you can usually watch on Hulu, or you can watch it for free wherever, go to abcnewslive.com or whatever. That's been airing on Disney Plus. And today I was on Disney Plus and I saw they were airing Sophia the First. I think that's the name of that show. Sophia the First. It said live next to it, and I just thought, what? And then and you can only get to those by clicking on the tiles. You can't get to them anywhere else. There's no live section like on Amazon Prime, on Prime Video. That's what they want you to call it. I got an email about that. I'm not kidding. On Prime Video, it wasn't directed to me. It was just a general thing. On Prime Video, you can get live TV offerings. They have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle channel. They have a 80s cartoon channel, 90s cartoon, whatever, all that stuff. Mr. Beast channel. The same thing can be said for Pluto. Same thing can be said for Tubi. On Max, you can get CNN live streaming its shows between CNN National, International, and then you can also watch live sports. And then Hulu, you can watch, if you subscribe to ESPN Plus, you can get ESPN Plus, you can get ABC News Live. But on Disney, it's just so difficult to get to. Like, even if I wanted to watch Sophia the First in a live marathon, it would be difficult to get to. They also have guest and crew data for their Disney parks and the ad operations and everything like that. I just thought that'd be interesting to bring up the Hulu thing. All right, I'm tired. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. Sometimes you can see video versions of those conversations under the interviews on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can watch video versions of this show as well as LinkedIn Logs, which is the jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show. I couldn't get that right when I did the show about 45 minutes ago. Over on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at @cpluscomedy. Me on those platforms at @ChatBlackWhite. Thank you so much for listening. I'm done here. Thank goodness. Bye.